Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys. We are talking about value stocks once again with Tracey Ryniec, our value stock strategist at Zacks.com. Been absent for a little while here, but you're back, and you're back talking about stocks like Whirlpool Corporation for value. WHR, the ticker symbol. Where does the value lie here?
Well, I brought a couple of consumer stocks again. These kind of seem to be in the value category, even though the share prices have really soared on these companies. And Whirlpool does appliances. They do the Maytag and the KitchenAid.
Right.
And they had a really big blowout first quarter, actually, which they reported at the end of April. So it's been a little bit of time to digest the numbers. But it was much better than anyone anticipated because, as you can imagine, with the housing market, appliances has not been where you really want to be.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, but that's starting to turn, and they're seeing an increase in sales across all their segments, and especially in Latin America. Latin America is the big area for them, especially Brazil, because a lot of people there are buying houses and they're wanting to buy appliances. So they saw over 60% increase in sales in Latin America. And also in Asia, they had a big boost in Asia, but their Asian market is a lot smaller. It's only about 192 million in revenue. Okay. And Latin America is 1.1 billion now, so you can see the difference there. But both of those really boosted them. And I wanted to bring up Europe too, because they did see an increase in sales in Europe, but like unit demand was basically flat from a year ago. And since Europe is big in the news right now.
I was going to say, how long is that going to last?
Yeah, but it's not their biggest segment. North America and Latin America are now their bigger segments. But, you know, we'll see going forward if something, a bigger slowdown in Europe might impact their numbers going forward. But for now, the analysts all love what they saw. The guidance was raised by Whirlpool, and now even for the full year, analysts are bumping it up a little bit higher than the high end of their guidance. So they're at 854, the analysts, and the guidance was at to 850. So that's all really positive, and it's just huge numbers right now. And then the chart, they really have rebounded off the March 2009 lows, but I put up the one-year chart here because you can see it going straight up until the last month, which is the sell-off in the overall markets, and then this is a consumer dominated company, plus they have the European exposure. So you can see it trading off a little bit here, but it makes it more of a value. It's a little over 11 times earnings, so it's not a bad price here.
All right, and here's a name you haven't heard in a while, FOSL. FOSL, the ticker symbol, specialty retailer, I should say, maker of those fashion watches.
They do. Watches is their big category. They have the FOSL brand, and they operate 350 stores under that brand, but they also are a big wholesale distributor of other licensed brands like Michael Kors and Donna Karan and a lot of the big fashion watches.
And collectibles, too.
Yes, yes.
Collectible watches.
Right. And they also do other accessories, purses, and footwear and things like that. That's also serving them well right here, too. They're kind of interesting story. They had record sales in their first quarter, which they just reported, and you know that's great report for these kind of retailers. They're seeing a lot of good gains in the North American watch sales. It was up 50%, which is kind of interesting that consumers are going out to buy watches. Yeah. But they are, and this kind of trendy, you know, wear. So it's kind of interesting thing you can buy to improve your look for not super expensive price points. Europe, again, I'm bringing that up because that can be an issue. They do have European exposure, but the Europe sales were up this last quarter too. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens going forward with European sales, but I mean, that hasn't been, well, actually the sales were down slightly, like 1%, but it's, you know, year over year, not that bad for the European sales, so we will be watching that with FOSL.
Can be an issue.
It can, yes. Estimates are all up big because they also raise guidance, and, you know, analysts like what they're seeing there. It's sharply higher. The chart, you know, it's the same. It actually looks very similar to Whirlpool when you put these charts up when I was making these slides. And, you know, it's up big off the March lows. They're trading a little over 13 times, so a little more expensive than Whirlpool is here. But for a retailer, that's not crazy expensive levels. And, you know, they have had the pullback. So we've seen a little bit of pullback here. Again, it's a decent value play.
All right. Do you own either of these two?
I do not.
Check out more Zacks Rank Buy stock pick ideas on our homepage at Zacks.com. If you're not there at the moment watching this video, there are 4 new stock pick ideas that we put up there for you daily, 1 in each of the investing categories written about on Zacks.com, Tracey's included. With Tracey Ryniec, I'm Terry Ruffalo.